In the larger scheme of things, as a shorthand, you can safely say that The Acolyte doesn't have any fans. If you want to be technical about it, it does, but that fan base is so minuscule that if you were to use round numbers in the hundreds of thousands, as you should for something like this, you'd still have to round down to 0. And that was just confirmed by a petition aimed at bringing The Acolyte back, but which ironically only serves to illustrate why cancelling the series was the only logical course of action. Let's dive in. The numbers will of course increase over time, especially as bots and activists that never saw the series in the first place but wanted renewed for the cause leave their signatures. But at the time of making this video, 2 full days after the petition was first launched, after worldwide press coverage, it is barely approaching 10,000 signatures on change.org. If there was any kind of audience for this, it should have had 50,000 signatures by now and 100,000 by the end of the week, which is not going to happen unless the bots go into overdrive. But before we break down the number of signatures any further, bots or otherwise, let's have a look at the petition itself and why the people behind it feel you should add your signature to it and support our renewal. The petition states, "The Acolyte opened the doors for so many Star Wars fans, new and old, to feel seen." Of course, using that tried and failed PR line, this narcissistic need to be seen, to feel that this story in a galaxy long ago and far away must acknowledge you and all your idiosyncrasies, and whatever else you feel within the confines of your own head makes you so different from everyone else. Having this need to be seen itself would certainly be part of that, I guess. Anyway, the petition continues. To feel welcomed and accepted by an IP and fandom that hadn't previously been so for anyone who didn't check off certain boxes. Really? Pray tell, which gatekeeper was it that kept you out before? Which certain boxes was it that one needed in order to be accepted as a Star Wars fan? Because the only criteria I can think of is having a pulse. If there's more, do let me know. Naturally, this petition doesn't let me know. Instead, it moves on to the next in the list of PR marketing points that always surrounded this series. Not only that, but The Acolyte became a beacon for representation that many fans have felt was lacking in the Star Wars universe for decades. Of course, representation. Something which activists have suddenly retroactively decided was always a problem. Except it wasn't. Let's have a look at the premiere of Return of the Jedi, more than 40 years ago.
All I got to say, the Jedi have returned.
We're just fanatics out here waiting on Return of the Jedi. 3 years in the making. We're waiting for this.
Some people don't idolize Darth Vader like I do. See, I want him to get Luke.
It's a universe that we can't live in, so we go to see these movies. Somehow you get involved and you enjoy it.
I guess Darth Vader will die. I'm not sure. I hope he doesn't. I love his black.
Biggest surprise was to see all of them together at the end playing pinochle and having a great time. I wished I was there, and I'm going to try to get a part of the next movie myself.
This has left me practically utterly speechless, actually, but it was the best one ever.
The biggest surprise? Well, I don't want to give it away to anybody.
Do you think it was worth coming to this late at night?
Yeah.
The petition continues, and the gaslighting gets kicked into high gear. With both creators and actors that truly understood the world of Star Wars, The Acolyte quickly became a fan favorite because of the clear passion and love shown in the work, and the drive to give us something new and fresh to fall in love with. New characters with new stories that still existed within the same galaxies we cherished. Okay, I am now convinced that the person who started this petition, this Blue Smith, is someone involved in the production, and probably close to Leslye Headland at that, because this whole piece has done nothing but parrot the same bullshit that Disney marketing already fed us about the series. Indeed, the PR lines straight from the marketing department continues. Regardless of the orchestrated review bombing by a small faction of loud trolls. Yeah, of course, claim it's just a small minority of very loud, toxic fans who are behind all this alleged review bombing. Regardless of the orchestrated review bombing by a small faction of loud trolls and all the other obstacles the show had to face straight out the gate, it trended repeatedly throughout and after the show aired. It has a very dedicated fanbase, willing to fight for its continuation. It's a story that deserves to be told. The reality, of course, is that the series was a complete and total ratings disaster, and saying that it's a story that deserves to be told is tantamount to saying that Disney is obliged to make another season. Which again, from a pure financial point of view, is the same thing as demanding Disney take out $200 million in cash and then burn it all, because there would be the exact same return on investment on that. I don't think this petition gave any good arguments why this is not the case. But it's not just a written pleas. Some top supporters made video pleas as well. Let's see what they have to say.
The Acolyte was probably cancelled due to low viewership, which is reasonable. It's a reasonable enough reason to cancel a show.
Agreed so far, so I'm curious, why should Disney burn another $200 million on a second season?
I would ask the powers that be to consider that it had poor viewership because it was hate campaigned and review bombed before it even came out. Sticking with it might be an opportunity that is being passed up.
Yeah, they're passing up an opportunity to burn another $200 million. Let's hear another video argument.
Renew the Acolyte. Save the Acolyte. We want a second season. Don't let the haters win. Continue the story. Give us the satisfying conclusion we need.
Wow, that was a strong plea right there. I'm sure Bob Iger will be eager to burn that $200 million right now. All joking aside, I have previously said in jest that there are tens of fans of The Acolyte, but the true number is probably somewhere in the thousands. But for a series with a production cost like The Acolyte, that number may as well have been in the tens, because they need a regular viewership in the multiple millions to justify that cost. And that kind of audience for The Acolyte simply doesn't exist. Narcissists who need to feel seen and who feels they're so off and so different from everyone else that they imagine not even being welcomed to see Star Wars just isn't that lucrative a market. Or rather, it may be for mental health professionals, but not for an entertainment company like Disney that should be in the business of making entertainment with universal appeal, which is not what the fans of The Acolyte want. They want something targeted at them, which acknowledges them right down to the individual level. These are the true toxic fans no franchise would want, so good on Disney for taking the sensible course of action this one time. Now, they just need to go all the way and willow it out of existence, so the damage this series wrought upon the lore may be rectified. Or do you think they will feel compelled to reverse course by the arguments presented in this petition? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.